Like he was just like no matter what was happening around him, he was just like back to mission control. It's like, yep, it looks like we're gonna die.
He's all calm about it.
And we're cool. We're cool. We're cool. We're just gonna try to figure out. We're gonna try to do a couple of things, and look, we're not gonna die. Isn't that great?
Oh, isn't that wonderful?
John Young was one of the most amazing, heroic bastards that we ever sent up into space.
Really?
And he we should make a movie about this guy's life because it really, really was. He was an amazing dude, just as much as Neil Armstrong or Buzz Aldrin or any of the other ones. And just to shine some light on some BS. Okay, first three guys in the Apollo 11 moonshot that made it to the moon. We had Buzz Aldrin, everybody knows.
Of course.
Neil Armstrong, first guy to walk on the moon. Who was the third guy? Come on. I got you on this one, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I love getting Ed on stuff like this.
What was his name? Come on, man. I saw this in a documentary.
Yeah, I saw this in some movie. Michael Collins.
Michael Collins.
That if he wasn't,
of course,
if Michael Collins wasn't part of Apollo 11, nobody makes it home. He's the guy that parked the command module around the moon, and while Neil and Buzz went and made history by walking on the moon, he's sitting there up in I'll be in the parking lot.
I'm watching the cars on and ready.
Yeah. We'll be waiting for you when
he's the getaway guy.
But think about it. If Neil and Buzz died on the ascent, remember there's that story about Neil and Buzz almost running out of fuel, right? Because the proposed landing site for Apollo 11, what we couldn't see from telescopes, had boulders the size of this room. Okay, and so he's sitting there, he's Neil Armstrong is like, well, we got to kind of maneuver away from these boulders because if we land on this, we're going to tip over and we're never coming home. So he's moving the lunar module, the LEM, and he got to the point where he was had a couple of seconds of fuel left, really? While his computer is kicking in error. Okay, the whole time while they descended to the surface of the moon, the computer is kicking some error message saying I'm about to crash. You got to remember, computers back then, they were like calculators.
Yes.
You can go to Walmart and buy a calculator, a technical calculator that it's got 50,000 million times more power than the onboard computer on Apollo 11, right? So a lot of the things that they did, that they needed the computers for, they had to do manually. They had, if you wanted, back then, 1969, guys, I mean, if you wanted a computer
all
to do
analog.
Something, you had to program the computer to do the thing you needed to do. Yeah. It wasn't like today. It's okay, let's pull up Word and, make an email.
Right. No, you're making a good point.
Right?
It was all analog. It was hand-driven, mechanical, as opposed to digital.
The technology on the Apollo 11 lander was the pinnacle of technology at the time. Okay, when you wrap your head around that.
Okay.
And my iPhone is about 100,000 times more powerful than the onboard computer on Apollo 11. And this is not even the latest iPhone, okay? It's actually kind of old, guys.
Yeah, me too. I have the 8. But
I've got a 10. You got an 8?
But
I would expect you to have a newer one, man.
No, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm fine.
No, I'm not going to change. I'm going to keep the 8 until it blows up.
Yeah, I guess that was my idea here,
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's like me.
I found my original iPhone 3 actually in the drawer the other day.
I got an iPhone 5 sitting. I actually
keep it for backup. One day it'll be good for backup.
When I was teaching computers, right? I was teaching A+ Net Plus and stuff like this over at Hunter Business School. By the way, plug for Hunter Business School. If you're thinking about getting a career in IT, I'm going to commercialize. Definitely look into Hunter Business School. They have 2 campuses, one in Levittown and one in Medford, Long Island. Definitely consider them as your gateway into an IT career. Anyway,
let's talk about them just for a moment here. We know the operation. You were part of it.
Huge.
It does seem that young men and women and even adults who are coming out with that level of education are getting a little bit more real world experience, or what I mean by that is to be able to put them to work a little faster. Now, granted, there's some extreme tools out there that you have to learn while you're on the job, but it seems they're a little bit more serious than your average college student. Why is that happening?
Well, today's IT world is different than it was like even 5 years ago. I mean, think about it.
By the way, that was perfect timing with the camera. He filled our cups. We walked away. You guys didn't even notice, by the way.
Come on, change the camera. Change the camera.
Yes, I'm doing it. Yes,
it's not coffee, kids. So Ed and I are making a concerted effort to catch a buzz on the show.
Yes. Well, my more effort is to catch a buzz and make sure all the technical problems aren't there.
I got to say something. Everybody, who's watching this show that we do, the work that goes into this, and let me tell you something. It's all Ed. We get here at like 6:00, and he's sitting there monkeying around with connections and computer programs and updating software and all kinds of stuff like that. I can't even begin to tell you all the work that my friend Ed puts into this show. I got to give you kudos, man. It's like I could never have the patience to do such a thing. I mean, I think it's cool that you do it, and I wish I had more of an opportunity to do it with you because I love doing these shows with you.
Bro, you saw what happened today. So he's here, we're ready to chat, and all of a sudden, OBS and the studio deck decide to go through a mystery upgrade. Hey, today is a perfect time to pull the upgrade. I thought it was Techie Tuesday, but no, do it pre-Ed Show Wednesday updates, I got to reboot and, oh, man.
It was hilarious. I was actually watching him like, he's like, oh my God, it's doing an update. What should I do? Wait for the update to finish.
And I don't know if you guys could tell, but I got a little magic box here that was provided by another person who sponsors the show. And I'm able to agilely move back and forth with this box. Yeah. And that had an update at the same time.
Yeah, we went through a little bit of a technical glitch. But, as usual, all the technical glitches that occur when doing something like this happens, you just like plow through it. I'm sitting there with Paul and his friends out there, like sitting there going like, yeah, how you doing? Yeah. And you're sitting there going like, cocktails. God damn it, I gotta get this to work. And you always get it to work. I just got to say, it's like a Herculean effort to get this show off. It's like 4 minutes to 8. We gotta reboot the computer.
If I had $200,000, it would be much easier. But I'm doing it with regular gear. It's a big experiment.
$200,000. Think about one episode of like Fox and Friends or something like that.
Yeah,
it's like $9 million to put on one show.
Listen, and I'm doing it with
and you're doing it by yourself.
Yes. But it's supposed to be about fun and entertainment.
I really do. I think it's great.
Thank you. People get stuff out of the show, man. They get like Michael Collins. I feel so silly, and
that
I
you
hope
didn't know his name.
I didn't know
and
his
you
name,
should feel silly.
And I feel silly, and everybody out there who's watching better know who Michael Collins is. He's the third guy on an Apollo mission.
Yeah, he was the third guy on the first Apollo mission. It's like a big deal. Like think about it. Like there's 3 dudes. If any one of those dudes like failed at any little thing that they did, you're all dead.
Right. But Neil Armstrong was brought to light. Everybody knows him.
We got a launch happening tomorrow.
Yeah, tell me about the launch happening. That's a big deal.
We got SpaceX launching 5 dudes, right? We got 1 Chinese, we got 1 Russian, and it's the first time a Russian and Chinese are going up together.
Yes.
And
SpaceX October 6th in the morning are launching. How many? 5 people into space.
5 people up to the space station.
Up to the space station.
Yep. On one of his Falcon rockets.
Wow.
I mean, and think about it. When he started working these Falcon rockets, like the first time he tries, like, we're gonna reuse those rockets. First one comes out, boom, it blows up. He's like, no, we're gonna try to put it on a barge. It's like 4 times, boom, boom, like it blows up.
Right? He tried to try it out.
He's got it down to a science now. laugh at Elon all you want, okay? Well, first of all, he's like the richest dude in the world.
Well, hold on. Let's talk about Elon for a second because he's doing SpaceX
he's also
tomorrow.
Like a brilliant dude.
But he's doing SpaceX tomorrow, and he's buying Twitter before the end of the year. What the heck is that
really,
about?
Wait a minute. If
bro,
you
it was on the news
about the Twitter thing.
Yeah,
I didn't hear about this. Tell me about this.
So apparently he didn't want to do the Twitter deal, saying that half the users are bots. But nah, they cornered him in. He's going to do the deal.
He has to, right?
He has to now do the deal.
Okay, so. Is it a good deal for him?
I think he's paying for a lot of bots.
Yeah.
He's paying for a lot of bots that aren't really humans.
So he's got to do it.
He's got to do it.
It's a bad deal for him.
Yeah. He'll turn it into a good deal. You and I know that.
Listen, that's what winners do. And let's face it. A guy like Elon Musk, he's a winner. And there's a reason why he's a winner. Because he's the type of person that's like, everybody comes in, like a bunch of people come into the room and they're like, oh my God, we're all screwed. And he sits there and goes, no, we're not. It's actually really good what happened.
Yeah.
And they were all just going, ah!
Yeah, they're pulling their hair out.
And he's the guy like Henry Ford, like so many like brilliant people before him. He's the guy that sits there and like levels it out and figures out what's good about it.
Yes.
And how he can turn it to his advantage.
Yes.
So while all the forces in the universe are working against this guy, meanwhile he's the richest dude on the planet by a lot. Like they say he's going to be a trillionaire before the end of the year. A trillionaire. Like, do you realize what a trillion? Like, listen,
it's really...
you could have $1 billion. Like. Okay, wait. Step back. $1 million, right?
Okay.
Like you win $1 million from like Lotto or something like that, right? Oh, great. You realize before November comes, let's say you're in January, right? And you win Lotto and you win $1 million.
Yeah, I could
you realize that like around October, you're poor, right? And $1 million is not a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money to people like us.
Yes.
Okay. But when you have it, all of a sudden, like every freaking person in your life that you ever knew and like had any kind of like family member, they're like, "Hi, can I get $10,000?" And everybody comes after you, and so you got to give like somebody something. You got to give your sister something. You got to give your brother something. You got to give your cousin something. Before you
That's
know
assuming they know you won the lotto. No, you could not tell everybody.
It's one thing in this world, they'll find out. You're on social media, okay? Like you say, I just bought a Corvette. Where did you get that from, guy? You make $40,000 a year, right? You just bought a fucking a C4, really? How did that happen?
Where'd you go?
All right, no, I'm serious. Okay, so $1 billion.
Okay.
$1 billion is what? $1,000 million.
Yes.
Right. So it's $1 million times 1,000.
Okay. Yes.
So follow me on this, right?
Okay.
So if you're a billionaire, right? There's not many billionaires on the planet. I mean, there's a few, right?
Yeah.
A couple of Russian oligarchs. There's Sultan of Brunei and a few other people like that. People like Sultan of Brunei. Who the fuck is the Sultan of Brunei?
Well, I think that the Facebook guy just got kicked off that list. He's not there anymore. Zuckerberg is no longer a billionaire.
Commander
list.
Data? Come on, he looks like Commander Data, right?
He does.
Love you, Mark.
Well, he's kind of a genius, obviously. But
yeah, of course he's a genius. Look, he's smarter than me. Look, you become a billionaire. That's huge. I mean, okay, but imagine getting to the point where they're even considering you a trillionaire, like, because there are none, right? So Elon Musk is at this point where he's at some point in time he's going to become the world's first trillionaire. That's 1,000 times $1 billion.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
So he could spend $1 billion 999 times and still be a billionaire.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He can give $10 million to every single person in the United States twice and still be a billionaire.
How do we get to know him?
We all know him. And that's the funny thing about it. Like, when you get to that amount of money, You
That's a
could
lot of money.
literally change the course of humanity.
Some people have. What about Bill Gates? What did he do with that money?
What, he told us to all get the vax?
Well, no, I mean,
You want to get me started on Bill Gates?
I just want to say,
I'm a Microsoft guy, okay, but still, Bill Gates and Melinda Gates, I'd like to strangle them because their messaging has been like really effed up.
yeah,
okay?
I concur. So,
Thank you.
For billionaires who are philanthropists, they say and do some very odd things.
Yeah.
And I was a huge Bill Gates fan. Even followed him to the Norwegian seed farm and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But when he really, I mean, he thinks he's like Jesus or God or something.
It's disassociation syndrome, right? How can a guy like Bill Gates relate to a guy like you or me, right? You have a family, you live with your wife and a couple of kids, right? I live alone with a cat, right? But essentially the same thing. It's like I got my family. It's just they don't live with me, and I visit with them. My son comes and hangs out with me a couple of times a week. I go fishing here and there. I got my buddies that I hang out and have a
You're
few
regular.
drinks.
You're hanging out. You're having a good time.
No, but we're basically living the same level. We have our houses. We're paying our bills. We're kind of like the LIPA bill comes in, and we're like, okay. The cable bill comes in. All right, we're not like at a point where like every single bill that comes in, we're like,
Yes,
and we're like
exactly.
dying, right?
Yes.
We're paying our bills. We're doing what we got to do. We've got our respective families. Thank God. Your family, you're still living with them.
Yes.
Divorce
Yes,
sucks. I've got my girlfriend up in Connecticut. I've got my ex-wife over in Shoreham. Listen, and I'm like
I met my wife 10 years ago next week.
10 years ago. So in about 3 or 4 years, you're about ready for a divorce, right?
No, not at all. I think you figure out how to make it work, and it's the motivation that keeps you there.
So
there's ways to make it work.
So in other words, you're going to be looking to me to ask for a divorce attorney in about 4 years.
My dream is the following. When I saw the guys who made Pink Floyd The Wall, Pink Floyd.
Yeah, I know.
And they had that house in England, and they sat there as friends for 8 months in this house and recorded. I'd like to retire that way. Just record every day. I tell my wife, you better learn how to jam, you know what I mean, before it's too late.
You're not going to ever do that. Okay? You're not ever going to like just be in your house recording music and like having happy, fluffy things.
Come on! Why?
Dude, seriously, come on, man.
Big fly.
Ed.
You have guitars on your wall. What are you talking about,
This is Rick
bro?
you're talking to, okay?
You have a bunch of guitars. Your house looks like a studio already, man.
Yeah, no, listen. I live alone with a cat.
Okay.
If my and like I know my girlfriend's listening right now, and I love you, Karen, but here's the truth of it, and I'm not saying this is anything bad.
Yes.
Okay. I'm just saying it is.
Yes.
If I move in with Karen, which is what I want to do, okay, I want to sell my house in Long Island and move up to be with her.
Yes.
Right.
The cat. I never thought about the cat.
Well, the cat will come along and the cool thing is that the cat actually loves Karen and Karen loves the cat. But besides the point, like let's say we move in together, right? I'll have a room with a couple of guitars on the wall, right? I got 18 guitars. Okay, I'm going to have like 3 of them on the wall, and the rest of them are going to be in cases in the crawl space.
Yes,
all right?
Yes.
All right. That's the truth. I accept it. It's cool. Okay, because guess what I get in return?
Yes. Love and
I get to be with her.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
To me, there's nothing better than that.
When I had my recording studio, and then I met my wife, she brought all her stuff in, and the studio got smaller
until it didn't exist.
Right now, it's in a suitcase.
Exactly. Thank you. Now, like this, like the two things in my life that like are most important to me is like my son and my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Right. And thankfully, wonderfully, the two coexist. My girlfriend loves my son, and my son absolutely adores my girlfriend.
Excellent.
It's a great relationship. Now here's where it gets even better. My ex-wife, I'm good friends with, and her husband. right? So we all get together.
What are you guys? One big happy family over
We
here?
all get together, like, on, birthdays and special occasions, whatever. We were just together last week for my son's birthday, and everybody was at my house. And I went to Uncle
awesome,
Giuseppe's.
bro.
I blew like a ton of dough on food. I was like, yeah, this like got this, got that. Like I was,
That's
I was like,
awesome.
food. We got food. I was loving hosting the whole thing, and it's like every time I do it. Like by the end of the day, I'm less like, oh God, it's like ready to drop dead.
Yeah, but hold on.
But I love it. I love it.
So everybody
And
gets
Scott
along.
was there. Our buddy Scott.
Of course.
who-
Yeah, good.
yeah.
I'm glad. He's such a special individual. We both spend a lot of time with him. He's a one of a kind person. It's hard to find
a nicer person is hard to find.
Genuine people are so hard to find.
Yeah.
And
Gotta
that's
love-
why you have your family like that because
Yeah.
you're genuine. You know what I mean?
It's we were going to throw out a bigger net. Now here's how I'm going to announce something. Okay.
Okay.
That my girlfriend kind of sheepishly. Right.
Okay.
Now here's the joke. Right.
Okay.
You know the word sheepish.
Yes.
Right. What does it mean? Go ahead.
That you're like weak and
Right.
holding
Yeah.
back.
Exactly. Right. You know what my girlfriend thought it meant? She thought it meant sleepy.
Sheepish?
Because sheep. You watch sheep,
Oh,
right?
wow,
right?
that's funny.
So she thought, like, you sheepish, it means you're tired. I love Karen. I like these little things about her. I call her the giraffe because she is like 5'12", and she, like beautifully statuesque. She hits me up last night, and she tells me, Scott's gig. The Queensryche tribute.
Yes.
In case guys
Listen, there's a Queensryche tribute band playing on the 21st.
22nd.
On the 22nd on
at
Saturday.
Napper Tandy's.
Very sick show. Looking
It's
forward
called
to
the
it.
band is called Empire. They are friends
Yes.
of this show and friends of us personally.
Yes.
Johnny Wildchild, Michael Winter, Scott Arena, Doug, Josh,
Yes.
Josh King.
Great
Doug
singer,
Bellicose, the
great
drummer.
singer.
Great, like when I tell you I'm a fan of this band, I can't even begin to to say enough about.
Wait,
this
let's talk
band.
about Queensryche though. Queensryche's like a 80s real specialty band.
Very
I'm in love with
kind of
Queensryche, have
cult
all
kind of
their
thing,
albums.
definitely a cult kind of band.
Right,
you
like
know.
you gotta love Queensryche, but they're fabulous musicians. I mean, come on.
Look, this is the band that wrote Operation Mindcrime.
Yes.
Like, now.
Oh, wait. The song everybody will know is Silent Lucidity.
Right. Which, of course, they don't do yet. And this is my moment where I can look right. Where's the camera?
Right there,
Right
there.
Right there. This is the moment I say to Johnny Wildchild and Mike Winter, why the hell aren't you not doing that song? Okay? Now,
He says because they don't have the right keyboards yet.
it doesn't matter. You know what?
The
Ed will play
acoustic
the
version
keyboards.
is not that cool.
I'll get Dawn from Rock of Ages to come down from New Hampshire to play the keyboards. We'll get someone to play the keyboards. Let's get into the studio and get the backtracks recorded. I love you guys, right? Like, seriously, they're one of the most promising up-and-coming bands. They really are fantastic. I mean,
Agreed.
Scott's bass playing. I always say, like, we're both bass players, and so, like, Scott and I will never play in the same band together. And I always make this joke about Scott and I and our bass playing. I always say Scott's a real bass player, and I just pedal eighth notes. But he's like a real bass player.
Right, he's an actual bass player. Yes.
I've seen him play shit at in gigs that he's been in different bands, and he does like guest appearances in other bands. I've seen him do stuff like "The Real Me" by the Who.
Oh
And
man,
do the
I
Wasp,
love that song.
And do the Wasp version of it.
Wow. Okay.
And he's sitting there, like smashing the bass, like,
Big Blackie Lawless fan from Wasp.
yo, me too. Who's not? I mean, if you're a bass player, like, how are you not a fan of Blackie Lawless?
Wow, we're talking about a lot of '80s stuff
Okay,
here. You know
but,
what I mean?
But like,
The space
but like
shuttle
Scott
stuff,
is
rock
like
music.
this like really sweet dude. He's like he's like got an ego like this freaking big. Yeah. He's not the kind of guy that's like a real rock star per se. He goes up on stage. He's wearing a baseball cap. He's like he's just so like unassuming, such a sweet dude. And he goes up there, and when he plays what
He's
he
a
does,
kick-ass bass player.
holy shit, is that kid good?
Yeah.
Woof.
Yeah.
I mean, his band 100 Proof.
Yeah.
Like I was a big fan of this band. It was like the singer and the guitar player were a husband and wife team, Chris and Aaliyah.
I heard about it. I heard about that.
And Doug from the Queensryche band is the drummer of this band too, right?
Cool.
And so like they go out and one of my favorite songs I used to like aggravate the hell out of them to do. They did Cross-Eyed Mary, the Jethro Tull song.
Oh, sick
but
song.
the Iron Maiden version of that.
Oh,
like,
sick.
And they'd kick the shit out of it.
Oh,
I mean, like I used to sit there and watch them just like going like this with my glass, like motherfuckers.
That's awesome, dude.
Like, he's such a great bass player.
Yeah.
You got Michael Winter on guitar, and you got him teamed up with Johnny Sursich, Wildchild.
Right, but you got to keep in mind that it's a specialty band. Not everybody knows. Like
The
Def
chemistry
Leppard,
between
everybody in the world knows. Who knows Queensryche?
So like Queensryche is like in very much the vein of Def Leppard, Iron Maiden, and so many other bands.
Totally.
The two guitar players
Totally
have to do this like Judas Priest, like accept that, like doing
they were on
these
Headbangers Ball. They hosted
these
Headbangers
harmony
Ball.
leads that these guys do. And Mike Winter and Johnny Sursich just kick the crap out of every single lead solo. Like they'd sit there and like Johnny's playing the rhythm and Mike takes the lead, and then Johnny goes in like does a harmony with Mike, or the vice versa.
Yes.
And maybe like Mike is playing the rhythm. It's like you watch them and you're just like, goddamn. And that's not even the secret of the band.
Yes. You got to imagine Jeff Tate, the singer of Queensryche, had a really high voice. It was hard to hit.
Josh King, the singer of this band, he comes up to he goes up on stage with his glasses. I'm like, Josh, could you get a set of contact lenses, please? I love you, bro, but yeah, I'm not criticizing.
I am seriously
He's
impressed
got like
with his singing,
such
dude.
a cool like on stage persona.
Yeah.
Right. He just goes up there with his glasses and he puts the microphone like in front of his face and like wow, and he hits notes like that can shatter glass. I mean, like it's like he does the Jeff Tate, those signature vocals like to the T.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
oh my God.
I recorded the warning that night of the show.
I saw the video.
Wow.
Like the notes that you're hitting, it's like those are operatic freaking notes.
Yeah, man.
Like look, Freddie Mercury, as great as he was, he didn't hit notes like Jeff Tate, and Josh hits notes like Jeff Tate.
Yeah.
I mean, like he just like the Jeff Tate comes out of Josh. He channels like that Jeff Tate vocal so perfectly. When you hear them in a club, you're just kind of sitting there with your drink and you're like sitting there talking about some bullshit and some like sport thing or something, and then you turn around like, what in the fuck? And you hear this guy singing up on stage and it's just like, whoa. And like you see, like to the guy you're talking to, you're like, do you hear this? And I got
I've seen Queensryche live a few times. I saw them when Suicidal Tendencies opened for them.
Yeah.
And it blown away. I've
seen Queensryche open up for Maiden, for Priest, and for lots of other bands.
Wow.
And not
But is 80s,
not to belittle, I got to bring one more thing up.
Is 80s rock forgotten?
The drummer of this band is like a Scott Rockenfeld like disciple.
Is 80s rock forgotten,
Kicks
bro?
the shit out of like every single, like all those signature drum things that you're expecting to hear. Like this kid just like he just nails everything. It's and he's just like the most unassuming nice guy you ever want to meet. If you saw him in the club in between sets, you wouldn't even realize he was in the band. He's just such a sweetheart of a guy. Doug Bellicose. He's just like he wouldn't even you wouldn't even know he was there. And then he goes up there and he hits those freaking drums. And I'm sitting there watching him play, and I'm just like, you know what? This kid's amazing. The way the whole thing, the 5 pieces fit together, I really got to say is amazing. So you were going to say something, but
no. I don't believe so. But is 80s rock dead? I mean, there was extremely talented stuff.
I don't know
there.
how much is 80s rock dead. As long as people that like 80s rock is around, Will
80s rock make a revival? Get some talented
It's
music.
funny because I watch a bunch of stuff on TikTok, and You scroll through videos and you see like, this, that, the other thing. I love the cooking stuff, right? There's this like deadpan guy who's like a chef. He like seems like Stephen Wright.
Yeah.
And like
and he's cooking it up.
And no, what he does is he watches other people do cooking stuff and he critiques them. So there's this like chocolatier dude that he follows.
Okay.
That who like, so you see him come up and it's like he's making like a ballistic submarine out of chocolate or some such thing.
Okay.
And so like he starts off and goes, okay, this chocolate guy is going to make me feel like committing suicide again.
That's funny.
And it's like hilarious. But the thing about when you're watching stuff like that is that you never know what you're going to get hit with, right? So like I got the cook guy who's like critiquing the chocolate guy, right? And the next video is Neil deGrasse Tyson and his buddy talking about like black holes,
Yes,
right?
Yes. I love
Did you hear
show.
that conversation that they had the other day?
No, I didn't. You told me about it, but what's his name? What's his the
I
guy's
forget
name?
I forget the other guy's name.
I'll have to look that up.
He's like a famous student. I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
So Neil deGrasse Tyson, who's the person who runs the Hayden Planetarium in New York City, which is right next to and behind the Museum of Natural History. Just in case you didn't know, it's a big freaking deal if you're running the Hayden Planetarium. Neil deGrasse Tyson is like one of those scientists who like Carl Sagan is a relatable dude. Like people that watch him on social media, the first like real like deep scientist that like was able to communicate to like regular people was Carl Sagan. And Neil deGrasse Tyson follows in Carl Sagan's footsteps rather amazingly. Okay. I got to say. And so on the show, on their podcast the other day, Neil deGrasse Tyson is talking about what is going to happen in the future, right? What, with the discovery of dark energy, right? Now follow me on this.
Okay.
Dark energy is something that we don't know. We don't know what it is.
Right.
But we know it's there, and we know it's expanding the universe. We know it's expanding the universe ever faster.
Okay.
Right? So we know that we go out and we look into space and we see this energy pushing galaxies further away from each other. Okay. And Edwin Hubble, who the Hubble Space Telescope is named after, discovered that all the things in the universe are moving away from each other and that they're going away from each other faster today than they were yesterday. That the speed of the expansion of the universe is going faster and faster.
The expansion is expanding.
Right. And the culprit for this expansion happening faster is dark energy forcing the universe
so
to
dark
expand.
Energy is forcing the matter to expand or
forcing,
separate from
not
each
forcing
other.
the matter, forcing the universe.
The universe.
Right? So space itself, okay? So Neil deGrasse Tyson brings up a really cool, like really abstract point, and he says, okay, imagine you're a human being on Earth 20 billion years in the future. Let's say we make it, and maybe we're not even on Earth. Maybe we're just on a planet nearby. Let's say we're in like near Vega or something like that, right? Or some nearby star, like Wolf 359 or some shit like that, right?
Okay.
And you look up into the night sky, and you can't see any galaxies.
Okay.
Because they're all past the field of view of what we can see in the observable universe.
So would it look completely different in the sky?
All they will have to reference the universe will be the stars that they can see in the Milky Way. By that time, the Milky Way will have...
the expansion went so far?
Right. And the galaxies that we have around us have moved so far away that they can no longer be seen because now they're moving faster than the speed of light. Yeah.
So you can't even see them because of their travel speed.
Because of their travel speed. You follow that? So the only stars.
How many years away is this?
A couple of billion years.
Okay.
I mean, it's only like 12 billion years in the future. But it is something that we can extrapolate and we can figure out and say that, okay, in another like certain.
But won't humans will live at that frequency at that time?
Who knows what will be at the time? Think about it. By this time, we will definitely have gotten off the Earth because the sun will have expanded.
Okay, right.
We will probably be like in a very different situation. The Andromeda Galaxy will have collided with us.
Oh, wow, that's right. People don't realize that. You want to talk about that?
Yes. Well,
there's two galaxies kind of intertwining with each other. We can see them, and they're going to hit each other.
Right now, there's a galaxy that we're colliding with right now called the Sagittarius Galaxy. And it's leaving a stream of stars all around the Milky Way galaxy. Of course, nobody talks about it because it's not terribly sexy, and it's like not.
It's pretty sexy to me.
It's not anything that you can like wrap your mind around.
Well, no, it's a bunch of clusters of stars and galaxies that are intertwining.
The Sagittarius Galaxy is being ripped apart, right, and is leaving a trail of stars in around the Milky Way galaxy.
Yes.
And we can see those stars and we know where they came from, and it's like, no, they're not from the Milky Way, they're from the Sagittarius Galaxy, which kind of came through us and got blown apart and like came around and like.
But these galaxies intermix through time.
Understand something, that when the Sagittarius Galaxy first interacted with the Milky Way galaxy, the Earth wasn't even formed yet.
So let me ask you a question. So are you telling me that when those pyramids potentially, or 2,000
pyramids?
years
We're
ago,
talking about pyramids now?
So hold on. So is it potentially to say that 2,000 years ago, the planets that you could see in the sky are different than today?
Of course. The universe is moving. Everything is moving, okay? So when you look up into the sky today, if you, let's say, go 50,000 years in the future and you look up, let's say, at the Orion Nebula, not the Orion Nebula, the Big Dipper.
Okay.
So the Big Dipper, the cup is like this, right?
Okay.
In 50,000 years, it's going to be like this, and it's going to be moved apart, right?
Got it.
The arm of the Big Dipper is going to be over here somewhere.
Yes.
Because everything is moving, right? And 50,000 years ago, it was much more compact and didn't really look like the Big Dipper.
So if there's aliens who could have seen Earth at that time, they may have tucked behind another planet and can't see it direct.
Here's the whole problem with aliens and interaction with humans.
Well, life on other planets could have had direct sight of our planet at that time, and they don't now.
There's a big jump from going from a tardigrade or an amoeba, to being a civilization that can shoot a Saturn V rocket into space. And then there's a whole other ladder that you got to climb to go from the Saturn V rocket to the Enterprise.
But aren't inhabitable planets the ones where those bacteria exist? It doesn't. Inhabitable planets are still have those criteria. There have to be humans on it or aliens.
It is very, very obvious that there is life out there in the universe. We've got Enceladus, which is one of the moons of Saturn.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. One of the D ring, Saturn's rings, for the longest time, we had no idea why the D ring was even there.
Yes.
It was this nebulous ring way out on the edge. You couldn't see it with any of the telescopes, Earth-based telescopes. But when we sent Cassini there, we're seeing this ring that's like really, really like faint. We call it the D ring. It's way out on the edge of the Saturn's rings. It goes out way further. Like if it was visible, Saturn's rings would look 3 times as big as they are. Okay, and like, what the hell is causing this? Right? And we discovered there was a moon called Enceladus.
Yes, got it.
Okay, and Enceladus is on this like kind of elliptical kind of orbit around Saturn. It gets a little closer, a little further, a little closer, a little further, right? And that tidal effect on the planet causes it to spew stuff out into space. Okay. That's the D ring. Okay. Okay, you follow? Now here's the crazy thing about it. We've heard of the moon around Saturn that's supposedly an ice ball that has an ocean underneath it, right? And that's that's like a great. Enceladus actually we've actually flew through the stuff that it's spewing. So the Cassini probe flies by and sees geysers coming out of the south pole of Enceladus.
Wow.
Tiny little moon, about 1/3 the size of the moon, right? And of our moon. And it's like everybody's like, what the hell is that, right? So what do? They fly Cassini through it.
Oh.
And they open up all of the receptors and they say, what the hell is that gas that you're spewing out into space? Guess what it is? Salt water, methane, carbon, all of the things that we would call the building blocks of life. All of them. Not some of them, not 6%, 12%.
In the
90%.
outer rings.
In Saturn, we've discovered that what Enceladus really is a ball of ice with an ocean underneath that can go like miles deep into a core, and the tidal effects of Saturn crack the ice on the outside, and every once in a while it spews this water out into space.
And you see this geyser effect.
Now, me being the geek that I am, I would love to send a little heated space probe, land on the ice, work your way through the ice with like a heat, right? Have another space probe orbiting Enceladus, right, to report to send back to us.
Yes,
okay?
yes.
I want to see who comes up and licks the window.
Oh, wow,
right?
that's interesting.
Because we got Europa.
Yes.
Who's the other.
And Europa for a while was the number one target to go for.
Same situation, right? You've got Titan, which is Europa orbits Jupiter. Okay, that's in the Jovian system, right? In the Saturnian system, we've got two planets. We've got the Cassini probe actually dropped the Huygens probe onto Titan, which we saw pictures of methane seas, as it were, methane lakes.
I remember seeing that.
It's 250 degrees below zero there.
Gotcha. A little
water
chilly.
can't exist in the way we think of water. Water turns into metal there, okay? It's just a weird place. Like in Venus, like anything that we think here, like this cup would like become like some molten stuff that like you couldn't even identify on Venus.
Okay.
Right? It's hot enough to melt tin.
Okay.
Standing on Venus, right? It should be just like Earth, but it ain't. There's a cloud layer around Venus that has caused a runaway gas greenhouse effect that has made Venus a very, very hot, inhospitable place.
Okay.
The Russian probe was sent there, I think, back in
early 70s. Right?
No, Venus doesn't have a moon.
Gotcha.
Right?
Okay.
So Mercury doesn't have a moon. Venus.
I wasn't aware of that.
Venus doesn't have a moon. Just Earth, Mars, and everything past there. We all got moons after Earth and Mars.
But
right?
Venus is.
We
not
got Phobos and Phoebos, which are the moons of Mars. Mm-hmm. We've got.
Why? Because they're more solid. Because that's a gas planet?
It's just the way it happened. I believe that Mars captured its moons from the asteroid belt.
Got it.
I believe that our moon and its companion, which we talked about.
Now, hold on a second. You said we have two moons. I saw that on
we
Star Wars.
Do.
What do you mean by two moons?
We kind of do have two moons.
We have two moons.
But
like my butt cheeks. I got two butt cheeks. I had to go there because I didn't realize we had two moons. I saw that on Star Wars.
No. In Star Wars, they had two suns. Or three suns,
yes.
I was just having a conversation with these very nice people out in our lobby here.
Paul, Sabrina.
Yeah, Paul and Sabrina, about Crewithny.
And that's not a Star Wars character.
No, it's not. It happens to be
Crewithny with a C or a K?
With a C.
Okay.
It happens to be a astrological body that is following the Earth and the Moon as it goes around the sun in kind of like a corkscrew kind of configuration.
What the hell is it following us for?
Because it's gravitationally bound mostly to the sun, but to a certain extent to us.
Why doesn't anybody talk about the second moon?
Because they don't understand.
They don't understand that there's a second large planet floating around? What do you mean?
It's about 1/5 of the size of the moon.
Okay, it's a little smaller.
But it's huge.
Okay.
Okay? If it hit us, it's the end of life as we know it.
We've known about this the whole time.
No, we found out about it in the 90s.
The second moon following us in the corkscrew pattern.
I want you to think about this. All through the Apollo missions, the Gemini missions before that, and the Mercury missions before that, and every other single goddamn thing we ever did, including this Hubble Space Telescope, we never found this thing.
And it's been following us the whole time?
Yeah, it's the truth.
Damn!
Yeah, it's the truth.
So you're saying, wait, hold on. You're saying,
let me get some more of this.
You're saying that there was another planet, 1/5 the moon, that has been following us in a corkscrew direction, and we figured it out in the 90s.
Yeah.
And when we flew up there with the Apollo missions, we had no idea.
We did not know it was there. We did not know it was there while we were doing the Apollo missions. Okay, so get your middle.
Well, hang on.
Your middle thing.
Okay,
right?
here's mine.
Right. So
hang
this.
On, let's move our toys
Good.
here.
Good.
And this is our close-up shot.
This is our
the close-up.
Our friend Sherry Cask, McAllen.
Keep the little thing.
Yeah, with the little skull and
the little guy over there. How about that?
Right.
How's that looking, guys?
That's awesome.
You like that?
Right?
Nice?
I think it's time to give the McAllen the credit it's due.
Here, cheers.
Love
cheers,
you, bro.
Cheers. Love you, bro. Good stuff. You want to talk about McAllen a little bit? Because just a little break, and we're not advertising this, but
Sure.
McAllen comes in a couple of flavors. There's the regular bottles, and there's like the $1,800 bottle. What's the difference, bro?
Well, this bottle that we're drinking now is the McAllen 12 Sherry Cask. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If you look at it closely, this is a rather cheap bottle of McAllen. I think it cost me $90.
$90, not too bad,
right? And it's 750 milliliters. It's really fine stuff. McAllen is one of the Highland single malts from Scotland. There are several Highland scotches like Dalmore, right? You might have heard Glenlivet, right?
Sure, Glenlivet. Sure, I have that. A few bottles.
McAllen. All of these different distilleries have their own signature ways of making Scotch. This is what this was called a single malt Scotch, like Glenlivet and like Dalmore. Johnny Walker is a blended Scotch. Dewar's is a blended Scotch. This is a single malt, meaning it's kind of like made like a wine, right? It's made in a single cask. Right, it's not blended with other scotches, right? Where Dewar's or Black Label or Johnny Walker Black is like blended with other scotches. Mm-hmm. And be honest with you, if you've ever tasted the scotches that make up Johnny Walker Black or Johnny Walker Red, you would gag. Okay, because they're
why? I've had that's good.
They're disgusting.
Really?
When you bring the flavors together, they become okay.
Really?
It's such a science. It's so weird. I don't even pretend to understand it. I only have a cursory understanding of it.
But everyone talks about McAllen being like, oh, I had some McAllen, whatever, in a year.
Well, because you know what? Like, I'm going to come here and I'm going to do the show with you. Listen, sometimes I'll bring Glenlivet, sometimes I'll bring some Johnny Walker. But tonight I was just like, you know what, I saw the McAllen, they had the Sherry Cask, which was one of my favorites. At 12 years, it's not terribly expensive. It's not like over $100. I was like, you know what, let me get the 12-year Sherry.
What's the most expensive bottle? What year?
The most expensive. There are bottles of scotch that cost tens of thousands of dollars.
Tens of thousands? I've seen one for $1,000 or $2,000, not 10,000.
Could I tell you a story? Could I tell you a story?
Yeah, please.
There's a type of Johnny Walker that's a single malt called Royal Salute. It's
Royal Salute.
It's not a very popular thing. It's not too many people know about it. So I'm with my buddy. Remember we had Brian Larson on the show?
Yeah, great guy. Absolutely.
So
a great time.
Brian and I are in Chicago.
Okay.
Right? And we're opening up a new mortgage office for a mortgage company. Right? And we go out to Morton's. Morton's in Chicago, right? And we go out for dinner, right? Get a nice steak. And and all the great things. I love Morton's is my favorite restaurant. You hackers could probably figure out like some of my questions, from like my websites because of that. Anyway, I go to the bartender and I say, "Do you have Royal Salute?" Right? And so he goes, "I might have some." And he goes up on the top and he reaches in the back and he pulls out like 6 fingers of this bottle of Royal Salute. And I go, "I'll have a drink and no rocks. I don't want it on the rocks." Right? Brian turns around, he's with me, and he goes, "I got this." Right? And bartender, like, his eyes bug out and he goes, "Are you sure?" And I just look at the bartender. The bartender looks at me, right? And Brian goes, "No, I got this." Like, he's got to be the BMOC. He's got to be the big man on campus. And I love Brian. Then he got the bill.
How much were you talking?
1 glass at Morton's.
Yes.
Which is, you have to add, for the restaurant.
Yeah.
$375.
Per glass?
Per glass, yeah.
Come on, bro. No way, man.
Let me tell you, it was fucking delicious.
Now, listen, I've been to Tom Tom's, and he has the Japanese whiskey. Delicious stuff.
Some Japanese whiskey are amazing.
$50, $60 a glass, but not $400 a glass? Dude, come on.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, he will never, ever let me forget about that. Next time we have him on the show, we'll talk about it.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
I was just like, well, you wanted to pay for it, bro.
I was watching documentaries.
We ended up comping it and, the company paid for it.
Yeah. I'm watching documentaries about the world of fine art and how it's so manipulated.
Yeah.
It's so interesting how that works, you know.
The world of fine art is not the world of fine art; it's the world of manipulation.
But isn't it in these alcohols the same way sometimes with these brands?
Not really, because there are different things that you got to take into account.
Well, taste.
There's taste and there's the rareness of it. I mean, like this Napoleonic Brandies.
But you got to be able to make a deal. The distributor's got to be able to move it and make money on it. It's got to be a deal on the back end.
I mean, look, it's supply and demand, right? So you got Napoleonic Brandy, from Napoleon's time.
Yeah.
How many bottles you got left?
Yeah.
And how can you prove it's real? Do you know how you prove something is real from that time?
Right.
Do you know
how? You put some kind of liquid in it.
Radiation.
What?
Yeah, I swear to God.
Radiation?
Radiation.
Wait, you gotta. How did they have?
You're gonna love this, and it's like a total a Cybermasters moment we're gonna have right now. Okay, how do you know a bottle of wine actually can be dated before the atomic age?
Oh, you gotta tell me this. Okay. I can't imagine through fucking radiation. Pardon my French.
You guys are gonna love this. Okay, so there are particles in the air today that were not there before the first atomic blast in Nevada in the 40s. Okay?
So new elements are in the air because of those blasts.
That is correct. So you could actually say that when the first, like the Trinity test in the 1940s, when they were just testing the first nuclear bombs, before the bomb drop on Hiroshima or Nagasaki, before all the testing in the 50s, okay, between the Russians and us, okay, before we completely clouded the all these heavy elements,
the atmosphere
in the atmosphere, okay.
Wow.
There are elements that will not be in a bottle of wine that was created before the first nuclear bomb ever went off.
You're kidding me.
Nope.
You're kidding me.
I kid you not. Okay? So what you do to see if this is a real pre-atomic age bottle of wine, you put a needle through the cork, you extract a little bit out, and you see if that radiation's in there.
Get the heck out of here. I never heard this.
I kid you not.
Wow. Wow. Can't the old wine be affected by radiation?
Negative. Yeah,
Why can't the old wine be affected by radiation?
It's hermetically sealed.
Hermetically sealed.
You can't,
Wow.
nothing can get in there.
Wow.
And I from a different perspective, we got to give out kudos to Aaron Judge tonight.
Yes, let's talk about Aaron Judge,
right?
please.
So
Seriously,
Aaron
Aaron Judge. Let's talk about him.
I'm not a sporto. I'm not a sports guy, but I know that this guy broke a record.
Okay.
And I know my girlfriend is interested in it.
Okay, so bring it up. Let's talk about it.
And I know nothing about it.
So listen, me neither. But all I know is that we learned a lot tonight about different astronauts, and the fact is that if you've been watching the show, you realize the beginning of that space age, we forgot all about that. All those original space heroes is something from far past, and the ideals and the risks they took are unlike what we have today.
I mean, you got to think about the heroic motherfuckers that these guys were. I mean, I can't say it any other way. I can't say it. If you don't like the F word, you probably want to leave right now.
It's not a children's show.
No. But you know what? Here's the thing. You're gonna strap yourself into a space capsule with minimal controls. And when I say a space capsule, the space capsule is on top of a ballistic missile that was originally meant to deliver a nuclear bomb on Russia.
The entire country was into watching those videos. It was a national phenomenon, sir.
And you're gonna put yourself into a seat and blast off into space. And the only way you're getting home is by basically hitting an angle that's about as thick as a piece of paper, maybe a little bit less.
Yes.
That if you go a little higher, just like a millimeter higher, you're going to bounce off the freaking atmosphere, right?
Yes.
If you go a millimeter lower, you're going to burn up in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
But we'll get you back.
Yeah. There was a level of risk there, we may not.
A level of risk. It's amazing we didn't lose more people. It's amazing that the Apollo project lost 3 guys in Apollo 1 in a test sitting on the pad, where they burned alive in an oxygen-rich atmosphere. Mm-hmm. And we learned not to do an oxygen-only atmosphere, in the capsule, because of all the different sparky things inside of it. What a way to learn that? By losing 3 guys. Okay? Mm-hmm. They were in basically a box they couldn't get out of.
Yeah.
We also created these explosive bolts to blow the hatch, right? All the Apollo missions that you ever saw make it to the moon had explosive bolts on the hatch that if something went kablooey on this thing, they could blow the hatch and get the hell out.
Really?
Okay? There was a lot of changes made when Gus Grissom and Ed White and Chaffee were lost in that first test. It was a Apollo rocket sitting on the pad. It was never even meant to take off. They were just testing some stuff out, and all of a sudden some wire lit a fire underneath somebody's seat. And before you know it, they're getting incinerated. 3 men are getting incinerated.
Oh, man.
If you've ever heard, and I don't want you to play the tapes, there are recordings of what they went through. And let me tell you something. It's heartbreaking. I mean, absolutely heartbreaking.
Sure, heroes that are trapped and they're about to die in a crazy accident.
They know they're about to die. And it's 5 seconds. And you hear them and you just man.
Wow. Yeah. Now, hold on. So a few days ago, I took off a little bit early from work, and I picked up my kids from school, and we went in and we watched how NASA exploded that machine onto that asteroid a week ago. Why? Why isn't the interest as immense as it was when that Apollo mission landed? I mean, I even watched the SpaceX when Captain Kirk went up and landed with him and did that mission for a few minutes. And the hitting of the asteroid, or the launch tomorrow, which I'll watch too. Why has interest have gone? Why doesn't even give a shit anymore?
Well, okay. So what we did is we sent a mission up to an asteroid.
Okay.
To try to
move it out of the way. See if we can affect
some
it.
effect. Okay.
Right, but it was international. You got to see it on TV. It was in every channel. This little thing hit the asteroid, and the screen went blue. I mean, we were even today asked a bunch of people. Nobody knew about
I
it.
got news for everybody. It didn't make a damn bit of difference.
Really?
Yeah.
But it was still a worthwhile experiment that the world should follow.
Of course it was. How do you go through the scientific process? You try this, then you try this, then you try this, then you try this, right? Like the way we got to the moon, we started with the Mercury program, then we went to the Gemini program, went to the Apollo program. You know, there's steps, okay? Just to be able to do the trajectory to hit the object.
Yeah.
Well, it's the first step, right?
The fact that they didn't miss, yes.
Thank you. Okay.
They didn't miss, no.
Now,
I'm sure I would have missed if I was flying at the end. I mean, how do you hit that going at 40,000 miles an hour on top of it to this little rock in space?
20,000 miles an hour, and like it was like trying to throw a needle through a Cheerio from 2 miles away.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
So you can imagine, like, you're going to take a needle and use it as a javelin and throw it through a Cheerio 3 miles away, 2 miles away.
Success! They did it anyway. It worked.
And they did it. Okay. So here's the thing. Here's what we come away with from something like this. We know that we changed the trajectory of the asteroid